All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to So You Want to Costume for Charity Work. And I am Rick, Aquaman, or The True Aquaman on Facebook.
I'm Freya, or Faces of Freya on Facebook, or Golden Freya on Instagram and Twitter.
So today we're going to be talking about what it takes to be a member of an organization that likes to do charity work for different organizations as a costume character. We're going to talk about those different organizations, just basically give a little background on each one, talk about what it takes to organize events if you are not one of those groups but still would like to do work in the costuming genre. What other topics can you think of?
Kind of some of the do's and don'ts, what to expect, a little bit about costume choices, things to just kind of be aware of that maybe you hadn't thought about. Because it is a lot different than just going to a con and dressing up as your favorite character. You have to think about a lot more things. What's appropriate? You know, are you dealing with sick children? That kind of stuff. So.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and open the panel up with talking about. Well, first, how many people in here are part of or have costumes? Anybody? Okay. All right. So a lot of you. That's good. And how many of you have done charity work before, whether in or out of costume? Either one. Okay. All right. Some have, some haven't, and that's fine too. You do not have to come from a background of doing charity work ahead of time. You don't have to have been a costumer ahead of time to combine the two and do what we do. So with that being said, we're going to talk about a few of the different organizations that we currently have worked with or have worked with in the past. One of the big ones, one of the most well-known out there for charity work is a group that started with the Stormtroopers called the 501st. These guys were very well known for doing a lot of charity work around the world and have been doing it for at least the last 10 years, if not longer. I think they're actually 15 years now. So they have been well established. So if that is a genre that you like, the Star Wars world, that is definitely an organization you can look into. Every state in the nation. Oh, sounds like something about to blow up. There is a organization with the 501st in every single one of the states, and I think just about every continent now has at least one group or another. So even if you're watching this video, or if any of you here are from out of town or out of this country, you can be a part of that group as well. Now, there is a sister organization to them called the Rebel Legion, and this is normally the Jedi's or the Rebel side of the Star Wars universe, and they are very similar in their activities. In fact, a lot of times, anytime the 501st Stormtrooper group does their event, they usually have the Rebel Legion with them, so they can do, spar off and do cool photo ops for people. And but they both equally do the same basic task. Now, that's the Star Wars genre. Now, are there other organizations out there? Yes. Another major one that we know of is the Heroes Alliance. That is a superhero version of the 501st, and they are very specific about the characters that they allow. You must be a recognizable superhero. It can't be, some offshoot third-party type costume that nobody has heard of. It's got to be, one of the big ones. It
has to be mainstream.
Mainstream.
And it helps to be current.
Right, current. And if there has been a video, a movie, or a TV show within the last 10 years, then more than likely you can probably use that character for the Heroes Alliance. But again, it has to be a real superhero. So let's say you're a big fan of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. Unfortunately, that's not a real character, so not in the superhero realm, so therefore that wouldn't be allowed. So that's for that organization. But there are other organizations out there, smaller ones that run the full gambit. So there are several social clubs. I know there was a time back the Wolfpack Elite used to do charity work, and they were open to all kinds of costuming from the 300s to Resident Evil, just all kinds of stuff. But they did charity work. They would go out and see different organizations. Now, some of the different organizations out there that you can do charity work for, wow, they're all over the place. You've got everything from the American Cancer Society, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. You've got
Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Make-A-Wish.
Give Kids the World.
Give Kids the World organization, which is also a place where critically injured or critical ill children get to stay for a week here in the Orlando area and get to visit all the theme parks as part of their, unfortunately, dying wish request. You've also got organizations like Runways to Hope
that we worked with recently during the holiday season. Toys for Tots.
Toys for Tots, do a lot of Toys for Tot work. So, and then we also will even do some charity work, such as the and I forget the name of it, but it's for comic book artists, where the we actually help raise money for the health and well-being of comic book artists who normally do not have health insurance, and and those are usually sponsored by like George Perez, who is for those of you who know DC Comics, he's a big name there. I know Stan Lee donates different pieces of sketch work to be auctioned off and sold off, and that money goes to help those other starving artists out there that are trying to just make a living, and when they get ill, they don't usually have the ability for health insurance, so that helps them out. So those are just a speckling of the different charity organizations that you can be a part of. And again, the list goes on and on and on. Every community has its own little charities, and it doesn't matter what charity you do or work with as long as you're there to help. So, all right, I'll let you take the next part.
Oh, okay. I started doing charity work actually as a costume character, but far outside the superheroes and stormtroopers. I started with more historically based when pirates were very popular, and I did a lot of that. That's how I started. Most things are going to be revolving around children. If you're dressing up like a character, it's probably for kids in all reality. Whether it be visiting children in the hospitals, or if it's just fundraisers elsewhere, that's what you're going to be dealing with. So you have to, if you're going to be doing it, you really have to have, not only do you want to do it for a good cause, but you have to also be comfortable with the children and have kind of a passion for that. Because these are not a go out photo op, look at me opportunities. That's not what this is about. And unfortunately, there does tend to be some of that sometimes, where it's not about you. You have to let that go. This is completely not about you.
Yeah.
This is about those people that you're lives that you're trying to make better. Because of that, and I'm the first one to say I'm one of the people that I'm better behind the scenes. And that's when we were working with Runway to Hope. That was recently. I was a superhero wrangler. I was the one that was in contact with the organizer. Actually, I wasn't even in contact with the organizer. I was in contact with the event planner who was working for the organizer of the charity itself, who was then working for the department store that was sponsoring all of this. So it was this whole long line of bureaucracy, and that was a lot of fun. Lots of phone calls and texts and emails and trying to work everything out and go as smoothly as possible. And then I was on hand actually when we had guys and girls. When the guys were up there, I was on hand in plain clothes to kind of make sure everything ran smoothly. We had characters in 2 different places. I was on hand. I was the liaison basically to help keep things. Hey, we need you people here. We need these characters here. So that also is important. It was actually way more work than I thought it was going to be. But people, even if maybe you're not great with kids, like I'm not, there is still a lot you can do. Because there has to be the handlers.
Right.
There has to be handlers and people to organize, because you cannot do both. You cannot be a costume character and also be the contact for any kind of larger event. It's just too much. It just is. And so those roles are there, and don't ever forget about that. You need good people in charge to keep it running smoothly.
Yeah, and you've got to have good people skills. If you are going to be an organizer or you are a handler, you have to have good good interpersonal skills, and you have to have
Patience. Lots of patience.
a lot of patience and a good cell phone. Okay, that is not the day for your cell phone to go down because you will be on that phone constantly, organizing people's schedules, people showing up. You need to be a source of contact so people.
Where are you going to meet? When are you going to meet?
And
what do you need? Do you need changing rooms?
Yeah, things change quickly, so you have to be semper gumby, otherwise known as always flexible.
Always on your, got to think on your feet all the time and be able to adapt as quickly as possible and play nice. Because we had an incident where there was a double up of characters. Someone didn't want to let go of their character, and even though they were doing two characters, they wouldn't let one of them go so that somebody else could do it, which is their only costume they had. And so again, it comes, obviously, it's not about you,
right?
But be able to, if they need somebody in a different role, do it. Or if they don't need you to play both roles, just give it up. I mean, you want it to run smoothly, and be flexible and be willing to be like, okay, that's cool. Whatever you guys need, you're there to help and to facilitate.
If you take nothing else away from today's panel, check your ego at the door.
Please.
Yeah, that when you're working charity, it is no longer about you. It is nothing about you other than your image, your likeness, your cosplay. And this is where true cosplay comes into effect. That's what it's about. You must immerse yourself in the character for the purpose of being there for the charity. Okay? It is not an ad hoc photo shoot opportunity. It is not a time to criticize, bully, body bash other people. That all needs to be left.
It's the opposite. It's the opposite of what this is about.
Yeah. If we see that at the con constantly between the two of us, we have 20 years of con going between the two of us, and so we've seen it all. And charity work is by far the most gracious side of the entire costuming world,
and the most fulfilling because of that.
Yeah.
If you are somebody who can put it all aside and you're doing it for the right reasons, it can be the most fulfilling. And because it does give you a reason to do what you do. And you have to remember that other people are doing it for the same reason. Well, at least we hope so. So give them that opportunity.
Yeah. If you wind up coming into an event and there's somebody else there that you don't care for
get over it.
For personal reasons, whatever reason, this is not the time to have a beef. Trust me. You must keep the smile on. You must stay in character. You must do what it is that the charity...
For the sake of the children.
Yeah, do it for the children. Please. It always comes down to it. The children and the charity are always first and foremost. Now, what capacity are you working at? Well, and this is where the different elements come in. One, you are a cosplayer, not a costumer, meaning don't expect to just throw on a costume, show up, and smile, and expect that to be all you have to do. You are basically the embodiment of that character in the eyes of those you are being there for, whether it be children, whether it be children at heart. It can be adults that you're running the charity for, but they expect you to be Spider-Man. They expect you to be Wonder Woman, Power Girl, Aquaman, Iron Man, Batman, Superman, whatever character, be that Stormtrooper, be Darth Vader, not truly Darth Vader, you're not choked.
Right. If you are playing a character that is a little dark, most characters, with the 501st, it's a little different because those are actually the bad guys, but yet they're also celebrated, which is kind of different. But usually when you're doing these events, you're not playing villains. But if you are playing maybe an anti-hero or something like that, we get asked about Deadpool a lot. Deadpool isn't exactly kid-friendly. But if you are a darker character, you kind of have to tone a little bit of that down. Like with Batman, depending on what Batman you are, it can be kind of dark. Don't be dark Batman. You're still supposed to be, friendly. And as far as they know, they're meaning like super cool, awesome Batman or Superman or whoever. So make sure you're embodying the positive parts of any character. Try to leave any darkness and stuff out of it.
So when you show up at the event, you might be asked to interact with children directly. So it may be what we consider a character meet and greet event. And these because of the fact that you must know your character. Okay? If you are cosplaying a character, you must know the backstory, know their know their alternate identity, know who their villains are, know, you don't have to know every single detail, but know enough about them that if a small child gets into a conversation with you, you can pretty much convince them that you are that character. You're basically playing a role of a lifetime, because sometimes you might be the last character these children see in their lives. And do you really want to send them off going, was that really Superman? Was that really Batman? Was that really, Peter Pan? Was that really a character that I thought it was? Because it seemed like a fake Santa Claus kind of a situation.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't be bad Santa, okay?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
But they really do, we want them to really believe that they just met Superman or whoever.
Yeah. How many here have actually, when they were small, remember the first time they saw a costume character and have a photo somewhere where they are
Probably
posing?
Santa Claus.
Yeah, it might be Santa Claus, might be Easter Bunny, or might be actually a character at some event. Okay,
a lot of Mickey Mouse,
or Mickey Mouse, or any one of these events. Yeah. So and when you saw that character, wow! I mean, I can imagine the photo. Probably you can see it in your face in that photo. Just the overall awe. Okay.
Or fear.
Or fear. Yeah. Some people. It's a giant rat. So I mean, I could remember as a child actually meeting Darth Vader and Chewbacca, and this was like in 1979. Yes, I'm that old. I am really that old. And it blew me away. Now I've seen the Polaroid. Yes, this is a Polaroid photo. My mom showed it to, and I mean, yeah, I'm awestruck, and I look at the costumes compared to they were horrible, absolutely horrible. So does that mean you can get away with horrible costumes? I would say yes, but no. In today's society, we have such high expectations now, and with the ability
kids can be pretty smart.
Yeah.
Kids can be pretty, you're not the real Batman.
Yeah. So, cynical, children can be very cynical now.
Yeah. Is that real? Is that a real sword? Is that real? So
just be aware that that you are making an impression. Even if the child is in a critical condition, doesn't mean that they're not still smart as a whip, and so you want to make sure that your costume is right on, that your character is right on. You want to give them the best show. Think of, what's the old saying? Act as though your life depended on it. Well, act as though their lives depend on it. Maybe you're the one who's going to give them hope again. That might sound far-reaching, but it can be true. Case in point, my son, who unfortunately passed away from leukemia, he believed that he was becoming a Jedi, and so I had to become a Jedi Master for him, and it was hope that gave him the ability to fight as long as he did, and he never gave up hope, and never knew of anything but hope, and it was because I brought that world to reality for him. So you got to look at it that way. You got to think about these kids and what they're going through and what you're bringing to the table as a costume charity worker. You are helping them forget about their reality and bringing them into a fantasy world, which they so desperately need. So character meet and greets that is kind of the bread and butter of the charity work world. Now, photo ops, that is another one we do. And, where you take donations, or it might be a straight up $5 or $10 charge to do a photo with Batman, or with a princess, or,
whatever.
with, whatever character it is that you are doing. That's another good moneymaker for a charity. They'll hire you. They might put a backdrop up for you, or give you a scenic area to work off of, and people will come up, pay, and for like a $5 donation, a professional photographer will take the photo and then immediately take it and email them the photo, or print out with little portable printers now, and give them a print from that experience. Kind of like the old Polaroid deal with my situation. I don't think anybody even uses Polaroid
They
anymore.
went out of business.
Yeah. So that's old. But yeah, so that's another big one that we do is a lot of the photo opportunities.
And those ones are a little easier.
Yeah.
For someone who's just getting into it or something, you don't have quite the extended contact with the kids or whoever. It doesn't really matter who you're doing the photo. Usually those, it's open to anybody. It doesn't have to be like you're not dealing with just ill children. It could be whoever.
Right.
You know, mom and dad can get a picture too. It doesn't matter.
Right. You might be at,
But it's a little less personal. It's a little more impersonal. So if you are just kind of getting into it, that's a little easier than being thrown into, bedside, in a hospital or something. That has
you
want to work up to that.
Yeah, that has got to be the hardest. Seeing children who are in a hospital, hooked up to machines and IVs, and no hair, coughing, just completely drawn from the disease that racks their body. That is going to be, and that's a test. You've got to know before you walk into that environment, because the last thing you need to do is fall apart.
Yeah. You can't. You have to mentally prepare yourself for what you're about to do.
And even if you think you are prepared and you walk into the situation and you get overcome, you need to know how to gracefully, and this is important, gracefully execute a retreat from the room. Do not just start bawling and run out of the room. If
you can empathize.
Yeah, but try to be cool about it. Try to play the character. If you're playing a Superman, it's like, I hear danger. It was nice to meet you. I've got to go, and you leave the room. Okay. You just gotta be able to pantomime and improv your way out of the situation. Go out in the hallway, cry. Go into one of the family rooms, cry if you have to. Get it out.
Get a hug from Batman.
Yeah, get a hug. Come here. And show that love. So you want to make sure that you're prepared for feeling, because sometimes you think you're the toughest guy out there or toughest girl out there, and
it will break you.
It will. It can. It really can. It's very hard. It's very hard. So be prepared for that. Be prepared that and it can come on in a moment's notice. So you always have to be ready for that exit plan. So all right. So we talked about the direct visits. We talked about the photo ops. Let's see.
Dress code.
Huh?
Dress code.
Yeah. Let's talk about dress code and proper character representation.
Yeah.
That's kind of a big one. That's a big one. I'll let you talk about dress code.
I'm the best person to talk about that.
Power girl.
Yeah, my characters are not kid friendly. They just aren't. Another reason I stay behind the scenes. My most popular character is Power Girl, not kid appropriate. It's just not. I don't care what universe, it's not appropriate. And we kind of did run into some of this. It's just not. Maybe her new one,
the new 52 full body onesie
is in like footed pajamas, but no one's going to wear that. So the biggest thing is, if you do want to get into charity work, you need to have a costume or a character that is kid friendly. A lot of people, Wonder Woman used to be a problem with the briefs. Some places don't have a problem with that. Some places do. So there needs to be, if Wonder Woman is going to be one of the big ones.
And she usually gets a pass, only because she is
sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Some places still will not allow the briefs. And it also, it does depend on kind of how your suit is cut and kind of how you're made as well, because it can kind of look different on different people, depending on how you're shaped. So now a lot of people do kind of the more skirted version with like the gladiator skirt. Now there's sort of like the throwback kind of like pinup style that has kind of shorts. They're short, but they're shorts.
Right.
It has a little more coverage. So coverage, obviously for ladies, is a huge, huge deal. If you are in a bodysuit or anything like that, you need to wear no. I'll take that back. Not even if it's a bodysuit. If your legs are exposed, you need to wear pantyhose. I don't care how you're built. I don't care if you have great legs. I don't care. Wear pantyhose. It's just more appropriate. It makes you look better. It makes you look a little more puffed. It's just better. It's just better that way.
And on the guy's side of things, if you are in a spandex suit, I don't care what you think of yourself or what you would like to think, you must and I cannot stress enough, you must wear aka dance stuff when you're dealing with children. Remember, the children's height and
waist height.
They're waist height, and
they're gonna run up.
They're gonna run, hug you, and if all you're wearing is the spandex, and we can tell what religion you are, that's a problem. That's a problem,
Not
and
cool.
It's not cool at all, and it happens a lot.
Actually, even if you're doing a convention, wear a dance belt.
Yeah. Okay, nobody needs to see that. Okay, we're not trolling out there. That's not what it's all about. All right.
It goes for ladies too.
It
Undergarments.
does. Yeah.
Appropriate undergarments regardless. You need to be, if you're a woman and you're in spandex or anything that's thin, your bra needs to be lined. I'm not saying padded.
Well,
I'm not saying like push-up padded, but I'm saying lined so it's thick. Or if you're somebody who's extra perky, you need to wear pedals or something like that, because that's just not good.
It will show up in photos. It will be discussed, and you do not want to be the subject of that discussion.
It shouldn't be like that because that's not something we can necessarily control. But yeah, just do it. If you have to wear a tank top underneath or something, that's fine too. If you're in a spandex like onesie, you think about wearing pantyhose underneath that. Wear appropriate underwear. Bend over in front of a friend. Have somebody bend over. Put on whatever you think they're going to wear and bend over completely. And
make sure it's a friend that you trust. Their opinion. And not just someone who's, that's fine.
You really want to not have visible panty lines. Like, I know it's tough. You're like, oh, what am I going to wear? Do I wear a thong? Do I wear, That's why I say wear pantyhose, because it's going to give you a smooth line. You're not going to have any bunching that's showing through if you're wearing something thin or spandex. Just be really, really, really careful about that. Because even if you think you're totally covered,
you might not be. So, you really want that second opinion. Okay, what you see in the mirror and what someone else sees, especially, you can't see what your butt looks like bent over. And sometimes, the spandex thins out. And
we've all had those yoga pants.
Yeah, think about it. Yoga pants. Yeah, when you can see right through it. And sometimes, remember, cameras, when a flash goes off, it becomes transparent. And guess what? You do not need that photo up. Yeah, that photo will get up on the internet, I guarantee you.
And don't wear patterns underneath. If you have like a bra or something that has a pattern, try to stick with just flat.
Flat color.
Nude actually sometimes can work the best, even though if you think, wearing white under white or black, black, you want to wear black. But if you're under white, probably do nude instead. Underneath, it's a little better.
Yeah.
Don't wear your big push-up bras and stuff that you would wear to the convention.
Yep.
You do want to tone down cleavage. Actually worked with one woman who does a great Wonder Woman, and she actually wears a little tank top, actually like a little camisole underneath. Yeah, it's not exactly Wonder Woman, but it keeps everything kind of in check.
Right.
So no wardrobe malfunctions, and you're not going to be accused of, God forbid, you actually are busty. You can't do anything about that, so try to tone it down. That's crazy coming from somebody who does Power Girl. I actually did wear Power Girl for an event, for a children's event. They wanted it. And I tried to tone everything down.
Yeah, we called her Powerless Girl because, we had to tone her down.
Tough.
Yeah, we took her powers away.
And don't wear, and again with the Power Girl, I wore different boots. If you're a woman and you're used to wearing really, really tall shoes for your costume or something because maybe you don't have quite the height, you don't need to wear something that crazy for these events.
Right, because you're going to be
doing you're almost too big. And
and you're going to be kneeling down a lot and getting up and
low heels will work just fine.
Yeah. They're not nearly going to be as temperamentally selective as you might be at a con or the rest of the con people. So again, be prepared that people are going to you're going to need to worry about the kids more than you're not there to impress your fellow costumers. You're there to enlighten the world of a child who really loves just the character. So make sure you understand that. And that again, it
is hard sometimes. You're like, but it's not right. It's
not perfect.
And you have to let that go. That was tough for me, and I had to kind of like let it go.
And you've got to think, you've got to understand something called the 10-foot rule. Mm-hmm. Remember, although your character's costume may not be, it's not con perfect. It's not, because you're toning it down for children. The 10-foot rule applies. And what that means is although the child will see your costume up close and see any flaws that are in it up close, what will the camera see 10 feet away? And when they go back and look at that memory, they're looking at that memory from a 10-foot away
Looks
view.
way better from 10 feet.
Yeah, it looks very good. I mean, my Iron Man that I've had for, 7-8 years now is beat up. I mean, it's a mess. I mean, when you look at it up close, you'd be like, oh my God, I mean, the thing, it's been through the ringer. But you look at photos and the thing just, I don't know what magic happens in that 10-foot, but it looks like it just stepped off of a movie set. And it's like, wow. And you'll notice that if you ever go and see actual movie props up close, they look horrible. They look absolutely styrofoam, little model pieces glued all over. But then you step back, you take photos of it from 10 feet away and be like, oh my God, it's
cool.
It's the coolest thing. I mean, costumers and cosplayers, our stuff has to hold up to scrutiny at like this level, or we're so anal that we want it to look good at this level, but we forget that the majority of the people who are going to see it are going to see it from a 10-foot, or across a con, and still think it looks awesome. And we're sitting there going, God, this is ugly.
This is wrong, and this is wrong, and this is all screwed up. And
you walk up to people apologizing who have no idea what you're apologizing. I know my costume's a mess. Please just don't say it.
But they're kids. They're kids. They'll love it.
Yeah. They're gonna absolutely love your costume, and that's what you're there. Now, this is one of the only times where height, weight, appropriate costuming comes into play. All right.
And people probably get a little bit out of shape about this.
Yeah, this is a hot point for a lot of people. We're not body bashing, we're not bullying, but what we are doing is being honest. And this is where honesty sometimes hurts some people. We're talking about being height, weight, appropriate to the character you are playing. Okay? You do not want to be a 4'8" Wonder Woman. Okay? You do not want to be a 380-pound Green Lantern. Okay? Unless you're playing the character, an alien race that is that size. Okay?
Just like Disney wouldn't pick a 6-foot-tall Tinkerbell.
Right.
It just, you have to, this is no longer
about you and your
love
love
this character, and this is about honest portrayal, real life portrayal of a character, because these children do need to really feel that they're meeting this character.
Right. I mean, if you really feel that you, in the heart of hearts, have to be Darth Vader, and you're 5'3", great, knock it out of the park. And be a short Vader at a convention, okay?
Dark helmet.
Yeah, be Dark helmet. But do not do this for a charity event organization. You've really got to take that into consideration.
Unless you have like little children as stormtroopers.
Yeah, I mean, if you can offset the visual reference with other short individuals, that's great.
But you have to choose characters that are good for you. It's not. It's tough. It is. Like, I can't do Supergirl.
Right.
Like, I can't. It would be the easiest and greatest costume to do, because it's it's always needed. I can't do it. I don't do that character. I can't do that character justice.
So you want to do characters that fit your body style. Mm-hmm. Now, again,
they are out there. They are out there. So don't get discouraged and think, oh well, just because I'm not a certain way, I can't. There's nothing I can do. It's not true. Actually, one of the girls that we see a lot, she's real tiny, but she does a great Wasp. Mm-hmm. She's perfect for that role.
Yep.
Because she's the perfect frame. It's not like I could do it.
Right, and that is her charity costume. Okay, pick one or two costumes. If you're going to do this, pick one or two of those and make those your charity costume. You don't have to use.
They don't have to be your favorites.
Right. Like I have over 40 different costumes that I do. Are every one of them charity costumes? No. And I'm not going to charity in all 40 of those costumes. I've got 2 or 3 that I love to do charity work in, and those I make sure are perfect for those kind of events. Outside of those, I can do my other costumes. I'm not going to do, Professor Snape from Harry Potter for a charity event. Do I do a good job? Yes. Is it going to scare your little children? Yes. Am I going to want to do it for them? No. Okay? So I don't do that character because it is not appropriate. Do I think I could pull off Superman? No, it's not who I am, and I would be awkward at it. I don't do a good Spider-Man. I'm not, can I parkour off of buildings and all that kind of stuff, and be that quick-witted and all that? No, that's not who I am. So pick characters that you feel you can portray honestly, and that's where it comes down to being honest with yourself. You've got to truly, don't be.
But don't, and
Yeah,
again, don't be upset about it.
Yeah.
And it is a very fine line, when to say you shouldn't do a character because, well, you're, not fit to be that character.
And
I don't even like to say that, since, I didn't think I could ever do a superhero.
Right.
Like, didn't think I'd ever be that there would ever be one that I could ever do. But seriously, don't be discouraged, because there are things out there that maybe they're not like the front and center. Maybe you're not Captain America, but how many people are really?
Right. And let's say you do a great cap, but that's why we say have 2 or 3 different ones, because there might be someone else that does cap.
Yes.
And that might be their only costume. And let's say they sign up for a charity event that you're going to. You want to share the wealth, okay? Don't make someone else not be able to do it at all when you've got 2 or 3 costumes to choose from, and they only have 1 costume. Okay. Now, don't let it be every time. You want to get on.
Trade-off.
Yeah, it's a trade-off, and you've got to communicate. Again, this is where, like I said, if you take nothing else from this, check your ego at the door. Okay. I'm well known for Aquaman. So if someone else signed up and says, "Hey, I just got an Aquaman made. Can I be Aquaman for this charity event at Give Kids the World?" And I know I've got Aquaman, I've got Iron Man, I've got my X-wing pilot, and they're open to all those characters. I'll pick one of my other characters.
Or you do sometimes have to sit them out.
Sit it out.
There are sometimes when it's just like, it's cool, I'll catch you on the next one.
Or if you step back and you be that handler position. Mm-hmm. Handlers are you cannot stress enough how important good handlers are. A handler can make or break an event, because when you're running around and you're not without your phone, you're not without being able to get water yourself, or you may be in a costume.
Or sit down.
You can't
go to the bathroom.
Yeah. And you need a bathroom break. You need somebody to help get you in and out of your costume in order to be able to do the event. That's when you basically come in and a handler does the work. So be sure to use those people, or if you're going to be that person for them, because handlers can make or break a charity event, because we need them. And if you do not have a costume that you feel is up to par, that is a great way of getting into it. So, all right.
I think one of the other things when we're talking about appropriate what to wear, it's also kind of a hygiene thing. Sort of, obviously, especially if you're dealing with sick children, everything needs to be clean. You need to be clean. Your costume needs to be very clean. Don't wear a lot of heavy perfume, hairspray, those kind of products. Anything that has a really strong smell. You can't have that. You can't have that. It's not. You can't. Don't do it.
Yeah, when you're doing the work inside hospitals, especially, or in and around sick children, be aware that what your costume is made of. Okay, if it is using a lot of heavy chemicals, bonding agents, those smells tend to linger around on the costume. If your costume is covered in latex parts, a lot of children, especially in hospitals, will have latex allergies, and you may not realize that a rubber mask or something about your costume is made out of latex. You get close to the child and they start wheezing. And, you've got to know what your costume is made of and what it smells like, okay? This is when washing your costume, Febrezing your costume, making sure your own hygiene is in check, because when you're around children who are sick, you don't realize that being in a sterile environment for a long time and then something very pungent walks in, it might as well have thrown a CS gas grenade in there, because their eyes will start watering and their noses are going to start running. They're going to start hacking and coughing. Imagine a smoker walking into a room, an enclosed room, and start lighting up. That's what it's like for them. So if you're not careful,
you
can have that.
Very clean.
Yeah, make sure your hands are clean. And if you've got gloves on and whatnot, before you put your gloves on, a lot of times you'll get the foam or the hand gel, sanitation gel. Just go ahead and put that on before you even put your gloves on, just to make sure that if nothing else, those are clean. So, all right. So, anything else?
I don't think so. I think that is the kind of the basics of if you're gonna get into it. And it is, you will still have fun with it. Like, it sounds like all this stuff, you have to take it so seriously. And if there's ever a time that you're going to take cosplay really seriously, it's going to be for this. But it is still a lot of fun, because you do get to interact with people who are doing it for the same reasons. And like we said before, it's terribly fulfilling. And it just gives you more of a reason than just going out there and getting a bunch of photos taken. Because you can only do that for so long. And you feel like there's more out there, and
when you're giving of yourself for someone else, and especially dying children or sick children,
it changes you.
It does. It's a paradigm shift in costuming, because it's no longer about you. You have finally you've evolved to the next step. When you take costuming and make it about someone else's needs before your own, then you've taken a giant step in this world, I think. And
you bond with the people who are doing it too, which is great, because you become like a little, I don't want to say family. I mean, there can be drama and stuff depending on its people.
There's always going to be ego.
It's always going to happen.
And unfortunate.
But you do start to bond with the people who are a part of it, because you are sharing these experiences that are very heartfullt and so meaningful in your life. So it's good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, you're a better person for doing it. I mean,
all the warm fuzzies.
Yeah, you get the feels, and everyone wants the feels, and this is a great way of getting the feels.
Definitely.
So
look in your area. They are out there. If you're near any city, there are going to be things out there for you to do, and it doesn't have to just be superheroes or the 501st. There are stuff for princesses. There is stuff with if you're into like the more like the reenactment type.
Yeah, the pirate groups.
You're still going to have the pirates and that kind of stuff.
There's all kinds of things out there.
Anime is hugely popular now, more and more so, and that is also becoming a thing. So look into, and if you don't see anything in your area, there's no reason why you can't start something. Start talking to the people who are in your group of friends if people want to do it. But if you do get involved with an organization, actually make sure that they are a bona fide charity. That it's a 501c?
501c group.
Make sure that they actually are, and not just like a bunch of people who say, oh yeah, we do charity work. Where does the money go? Like, how is it handled? That kind of stuff. Because you don't want to get involved with people who are not on the up and up.
Yeah, groups that actually require background checks, law enforcement background checks, are a group that tells you right up front that they're serious. But
don't let that freak you out either. Like, why do they need to know my background and stuff? I mean, if you think about it, people need to know what's.
Yeah, I mean, would
that
you
you're
want?
safe.
Would you want your kids being around a bunch of people with masks on that you have no idea what their background is? But if you knew that group was, been checked out, then all right, so nobody in this thing, there are no child molesters in this group. Good. All right, well, then we're good. We're cool. Because they could, if they're not checked, they very well could get into the group. And if an event like that happens,
it would be terrible.
Oh, the media backlash on that group.
I don't even want to think about something like that.
That would be horrible. That would be absolutely horrible. And you don't want that to happen. So make sure you do your homework. Yeah.
Do your homework.
And if anybody is looking for a group and they're not sure to go about doing it, they can always look us up. Again, I'm the True Aquaman on Facebook. Faces of Freya on Facebook. And we're more than happy.
We'll help you get you in the right direction if we can. If we know anything, we can put the word out and see. Yeah,
with our network, we could probably find you an organization that fits right into your niche that you want. If not, we'll definitely at least get you on the right path. Mm-hmm. So again, if you learn nothing else from today, check your ego. That's the number one thing. It's always about the children. It's not about you anymore when it comes to charity work in costume. Size, weight, appropriate costumes are a living embodiment to the child. So it's not about, I can be a Batman even though I'm 400 pounds.